Umas once said, "Friendship is like a flower. Well cultivated, it can bloom in one's heart. But once stubbornness or misfortune fundamentally destroys friendship. When you are at the peak of your life, there may be many people who do the icing on the cake. However, when you fall into a low point and live in a mess, besides your parents, friendship is pure and precious. Having a confidant in life is enough. If you encounter a friend who treats you consistently and helps you in times of crisis." 3 days ago, Anjung went to visit her junior high school classmate and cried when she returned home. At first, the children thought that the classmate had done something bad that hurt Aunt Jang's heart. Aunt Jang's self-statement: "I am 51 years old and live in a second-tier provincial city. Since I moved here with my husband and his family 20 years ago, I have only a few times to return to my hometown. After all, my parents passed away early, and my 2 brothers also went to other places to fight. There is no family member to remember in my hometown. Last week, while browsing the mall, I met my junior high school classmate. At first, I wasn't sure, but with a nervous heart, I called out their name. The other person turned around to see me. Afterwards, I invited her to dinner and added her contact information. That night, she brought me to the middle school classmate group formed by the class monitor. That year, when I was in my 3rd year of junior high school, my father accidentally capsized while fishing in the river to support his family. Despite everyone's efforts to rescue him, my father still lost his life. We lost the backbone of our family and the source of income. At that time, my eldest brother was working in the field. My second brother was in the 2nd year of high school, and I was in the 3rd year of junior high. My mother said to me, "Girl, the family can't afford to have 2 children studying anymore. Your second brother is a boy and the hope of the whole family." At that time, although I understood my mother's choice, I really didn't want to give up my studies. At that time, my grades were very good. Sitting in my seat, thinking that I would have to work underground from now on and never be able to read again, I was filled with sadness and couldn't help but burst into tears. Upon hearing this, the homeroom teacher came and called me to the office. Until now, I still remember what the homeroom teacher said to me. "Don't be afraid." The homeroom teacher kept his promise and invited my mother to school, convinced her to agree to continue my studies, and then let me move to his house and live in the same room with his daughter, Wang Xue. I remember at that time, the homeroom teacher was very kind to me. Although their income was not high, they could only afford to eat meat when they were paid. However, every time they cooked meat, Wang Xue and I were huddled in the same bed. Although the conditions were poor at that time, let alone the air conditioning, and we couldn't even afford the floor. In the end, I was admitted to high school and left the homeroom teacher's house. He supported me for another 2 years until I entered my 3rd year of high school. My older brother insisted on not allowing the funding and said he would support me in my studies. Later on, I was admitted to a college and became a people's teacher like a homeroom teacher. Standing on the podium, although my life was not good at first, I met my lover, had a clever and sensible child. When I was 24 years old, Wang Xue also got married and went to another city. The homeroom teacher and his wife also followed their daughter to another city. I am particularly pleased to have added Wang Xu's contact information this time. I have arrived at Wang Xu's home address and plan to visit them. When I checked Wang Xu's social media and learned that her daughter-in-law is pregnant. When I arrived at Wang Xu's house happily and met my friend, who had been away for many years. Wang Xue was also happy to see me and warmly greeted me as I entered the door. Her daughter-in-law was also present, and when she saw the gift I brought, She made a few polite remarks. She had been sitting on the sofa playing games, and occasionally calling out to Wang Zugan to do this and that, whether it was eating fruits or taking things. She had to run errands with Wang Xue, which made me feel a bit unhappy. You should know that she is only 3 months pregnant, and even if she doesn't go to work, she still uses her mother-in-law so much that she doesn't even bother to move. It's really a bit awkward. When my daughter-in-law was pregnant, after chatting for a while, I asked Wang Xue, "Where's the teacher?" Wang Xue told me that the homeroom teacher is in another building, and the two of us went to visit the homeroom teacher. The homeroom teacher recognized me at a glance and said, "Jiang Lin. Haha. I am happy to throw myself into the arms of the homeroom teacher. For me, apart from my parents, who have already passed away." Just as I was having the happiest conversation, Wang Zu's phone rang twice. I heard her sigh helplessly and then said to me in an apologetic tone, "I'm sorry, Jiang Lin. I haven't finished the housework yet, and I'll go pick up my grandson later. I'll go back first." After Wang Xue left, the homeroom teacher became depressed and told me about Wang Zu's situation. It turned out that Wang Xue was careless in choosing a spouse and married a scumbag. Despite enduring it, he still did not receive the man's treasure. The homeroom teacher and teacher's mother couldn't bear it anymore. But when Wang Zu's son grew up, he became an elderly person and even married a daughter-in-law, who was just as ignorant as him. When the couple got married, they emptied Wang Zu's savings, and now they have taken advantage of Wang Zu's retirement pension. They have also started planning a homeroom teacher's retirement pension. Upon hearing this, I feel very distressed, not only for Wang Xue, but also for the homeroom teacher. At such an old age, the homeroom teacher not only did not enjoy the blessings of her grandchildren. I sat here with the homeroom teacher for a day, personally cooking a meal for the homeroom teacher before leaving. When I returned home, the screen on my phone lit up. It was a message sent to me by Wang Xue, and when I saw the transfer of 1,500 yuan, it was my dad who asked me to give it, and he said it wasn't easy for you. If you go see him, he will be very happy and there's no need to spend. There's still 500 yuan for the chicken. I don't know if it's enough. Thank you." Upon seeing the news, I couldn't help but shed tears and began to cry. I don't understand why the heavens should treat the homeroom teacher's family like this. Why should Wang Xue encounter this scumbag father? After listening to my confidences, my children comforted me and said, "Mom, you can treat the homeroom teacher as your own father and show filial piety. If you have time, go see more and help them." I nodded, and their suggestion was exactly what I wanted. I can't help with anything else. But in the same city,